Now I'm going to show you how to actually make the scales, or the body of the dragon. This is again what they look like. Back, front. This is all nice and glued together. That's what it's going to look like in the end there. So you're going to want to make sure that you have everything ready. You're going to want your poly burlap or fabric mesh that I sent. You are going to want your zip ties, some kind of clips to hold the mesh together while they're drying, and your hot glue gun. Now this is an optional step. You can leave this without gluing them, but you know, I'll leave one just to show you what it looks like. It's just not going to be as neat looking. It's going to be more open. So you can decide on your own whether you want to do that or not. So first things first, I'm going to take a piece of my 10 by 10 poly burlap or fabric mesh. I'm only going to send one of those two. I'm not going to send deco mesh for this part of the project because it is a lot harder to work with, especially if you're a beginner. But in my opinion, it doesn't look as good. It frays a lot more. It doesn't have the kind of shape that I was looking for in Dragon. Again, so yeah, if you ever decide to make one on your own, you can use deco mesh. That's totally fine. It is a cheaper option as well. Okay, so I'm going to take one of my pieces here. This is 10 by 10, and I made sure, you know, cut it with either a rotary cutter or a wood burner so that it frays less. You're going to take it, and you're basically going to turn it into the shape of a diamond. So you're going to want one corner facing up and one corner facing to you. And you're going to want the nice seamed edge here facing up and to your left. That's because the way we fold it, that's what's going to be showing the most. Okay, so that's going to be, you know, the edge right here. That may or may not be seen. Okay, so you're just going to hold it like this. Let me get it best I can on the camera here. Just like this. And the very first move you're going to want to make is to take the bottom corner here and move all the way to the top. So basically fold it in half. Now keep in mind that this product, I'm just going to call it mesh from here on in. This mesh, you know, it's malleable, it's not perfect, it's not going to fold exactly like cardboard. And you'll see, you know, when I fold it, it doesn't line up exactly perfectly. So just work with what you got and do the best you can. And what you're going to want to do also when you fold this first corner up to the top, try to take this cut edge here and try to put it about 1/4 to 1/2 inch below the nice seamed edge that we have going. This is again, you know, optional, but what happens is when you, in your next step, when you take this corner over here to your right and you fold it over to your left, is that this cut edge here tends to be pushed out and you tend to see it a little bit more. So, you know, if you leave that room, it's a lot less likely that you're going to see it. So, you know, this is just a very rough folding here, but you can see for the most part what's showing is my nice seamed edges. So, you know, I have it down like this. This is sometimes called the Star Trek petal, I believe. Not my name. Somebody else made it because of the way it looks. So your final step here is you're going to take the top corner or the bottom corner and you're going to fold it over one more time, fold it in half. Okay, you're going to want to press down. You know, again, it is mesh, so it's not going to crease perfectly, but it creases enough to keep it into a good shape here. So you can see now, this is what it's going to end up looking like here. I'm going to zip tie it where my fingers are. So about, I'm going to say it's about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch from the end. And you're going to see in the top, you've got 2 different pockets, and that's where we're going to glue together. So the other side looks like this, And then the very bottom, we're also going to glue together here. So basically, you know what, when we were folding, and what I was trying to show you, you know, in terms of the seamed edges and the cut edges, is you want the nice seamed edges to show as much as possible. Because, you know, it doesn't show 100% on the wreath, but I still like to make sure it's, you know, I like it looking neater. That's my personal preference. So I'm going to take a zip tie. Now, if you're a beginner with this kind of stuff, the less you manipulate it, the better. It's going to fray no matter what. So the less you manipulate it, the less likely it is to fray, the less likely it is to, you know, come undone. But there we go. I'd say, actually, that's probably about a good inch from the edge. But again, this is an artistic project. It's yours, make it yours. Okay. So, now what I'm going to do is, instead of leaving it like this, where it's, you know, it's more open, I'm going to hot glue. So I'm going to take my glue gun, and I'm going to glue first inside these two pockets here. So I'm going to go inside, probably, maybe a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and I'm just going to make a little line of glue. Now please, when you do this, adults only, and this stuff really does burn, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the other side same way. Just enough to hold it shut. And now don't go putting your fingers directly over it. They sell things at, you know, craft stores and whatnot, to protect your fingers. What you're going to do is just take one of your clips and clip it somewhere that's not directly over the glue, because if you clip directly over the glue, it tends to leave a dent. But this is enough to leave it, oh, there's a little bit of residue there. This is enough to leave it looking neat and together. So you're going to do the same thing on the very bottom here. So you're going to move in, I don't know, maybe, you know, half an inch to an inch. Just going to put a little line. Take one of my clips. Boop. And there we go. So I was just going to put those aside now. You can see it's pretty much held together. And we're going to put that aside. It really only takes a few minutes to set, so don't worry about that. Okay, so let me show you how to make a couple more. Okay, so I'm going to take my mesh. I'm going to put it in a diamond shape, so it's going to point upwards and point to me. And the seamed edge, the nice seamed edge, is going to be pointing away from me and to the left. That's because that's what's going to show. So first things first, very bottom corner goes to the top. I'm going to try to make it as nice and neat as I can, but this stuff is not perfect. And it's not going to look perfect, but it's going to come out looking just fine. Okay, so here's how to do another scale. You're going to take your mesh, put it in the diamond, so one corner pointing away from you, one towards you. And you want your nice seamed edge to be pointing up and to the left, okay? So the very first thing you're going to do, so you're going to take the very bottom edge. A little more. And you are going to fold it up to meet the top corner. Move that out of the way a little bit. So again, this is not going to look perfect. It's not going to meet up 100%, but it's all going to look good in the end. So you're going to take your other corner, take your right hand corner, fold it over to the left, and you get that nice I don't know what that is, Star Trek petal pattern going. And you're going to want to fold it over one more time. So do the best you can. Fold it over. And you're going to want to crease it just enough. Okay. So I'm going to grab my zip tie. And here we go. This is what it looks like. Okay. And once again, so I put that about 1 inch away from the edge. You want to keep this more or less consistent among the scales so that, you know, they're not too short or too long. And this is what it looks like with no hot glue. You can see right through there. So this would be a very fluffy dragon wreath, I imagine. And let me show you one more time. Okay, so here we go again. You have your mesh, have a nice seamed edge pointing up and to the left. Have one corner pointing up and one pointing to you. So take the bottom corner, you're going to fold it up, more or less meet the top, but you want the unseamed cut edge here. You want this edge to be below the nice seamed edge because that's what you're going to see. And keep in mind that it's going to fray. Every mesh, every poly burlap does fray. So it's done in half. You're going to crease it. Take your right hand corner and move over to your left. Okay. So this one, just remember, you know, the less you manipulate it, the better. So I got it going there, my nice Star Trek petal pattern, and I'm going to cross it over one more time. So take the top, go over to the bottom. I'm going to crease it. And here we go. That's what we got. That's what it looks like. Take my zip tie. And there we go. One more petal. No, scale. So I'm going to show you again how to glue this. I'm going to take my hot glue. Going to open the two pockets here. Want to make sure that it's, you know, roughly where I want it to be. You know, make sure I didn't do any crazy folding things. I didn't. Looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this in here. So in a couple inches in, put another line about an inch, inch and a half inside each of the pockets. Don't touch the hot glue. Please, adults only. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clip it up top here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. And just set it aside for a couple of minutes and then you should be good to go.